the past, I've made a video about the database wars. The video told the story of how Larry Ellison ruthlessly crushed all of Oracle's competitors, emerging as the most dominant player in the database market. I explored his borderline unethical business practices and fiercely competitive nature, but in the video, I didn't discuss any of the personal feuds that underscored the rivalry between Oracle and its competitors. During these database wars, things got heated. Some of Oracle's competitors were no longer merely engaging in a business war. They were outright making it personal, going after Larry Ellison himself. These personal feuds were so severe that in a specific instance, it led a well-respected CEO to go insane and break laws in order to keep up with Larry Ellison's Oracle. For a very brief moment, that CEO had taken the innovative lead in the database wars and built a significant challenge to Oracle's empire, and it seemed like this company was the next to rule the database industry. But all of that would be short-lived. The house of cards would soon fall apart, revealing a company rife with fraud and financial manipulation. This is the story of Informix, how it came so close to beating Oracle but was no match for Ellison's fiercely competitive nature, which led its CEO to resign in disgrace, wounding up in jail, all because he dared to challenge the king. Before we explore the intense rivalry between Informix and Oracle, let's go back to the beginning. Oracle, then called SDL, was founded in 1977 by Larry Ellison and two other founders. One of its major customers early on was the CIA. In the late 70s, the intelligence agency put up a contract looking for a relational database to improve its data management capabilities. Ellison and his co-founders saw this as a golden opportunity. They developed a working prototype of a relational database and submitted a bid for the contract. In 1978, the agency awarded SDL a contract to develop a custom relational database management software, which was codenamed Oracle. The database they developed for the CIA would be such a success that Larry Ellison would move to rename the company from SDL to Oracle. In 1979, Oracle released its first commercial product, Oracle version 2, not named version 1 because Ellison feared that if people knew that was actually version 1 of the database, they'd likely be less inclined to take a risk on the first version of software from a new company. Oracle version 2 was marketed as the first commercially available relational database management software. Larry Ellison quickly leveraged the CIA contract to get other contracts from US government departments, de facto becoming the default database management software for the entire United States government. Ellison built a highly aggressive sales force that was focused on closing deals quickly and at any cost. Oracle salespeople were known for their relentless pursuit of customers and the ability to sell the product's vision even when the software was still lacking in functionality. Oracle would often promise features that didn't exist yet or were still in development. Customers would be sold on those future features. By the time the promised features were delivered, customers were already locked into Oracle's ecosystem. Oracle also used aggressive pricing strategies to win over customers. In some cases, Oracle would offer deep discounts or special terms to undercut competitors. This allowed Oracle to win contracts even when its product was technically inferior. Ellison and his sales team would often spread rumors about the stability and visibility of competing products like Informix, sowing doubt in the minds of potential customers. This helped Oracle position itself as the safer choice, even when its product was inferior. Larry Ellison used every tactic in the book, ethical or borderline unethical, to achieve dominance in the relational database management software wars. And by the late 80s, Oracle had become the undisputed king of the relational database management software market. This is the world that Informix found itself in. Informix was founded in 1980. Initially, the company focused on developing database software for Unix-based systems, which were gaining popularity in the 1980s. Informix's flagship product, the Informix Relational Database Management System, quickly gained traction in the market. At launch, Informix's database featured the ACE report writer, which made it easier to extract data from the database and present it to users for easy reading. These features, along with Informix's ability to support complex queries, made it a favorite among businesses that required advanced data processing capabilities. To fuel further growth, Informix went public in 1986, listing its shares on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. The IPO raised approximately $9 million, allowing the company to invest in research and development and expand its market presence. At the time of its IPO, Informix had annual revenues of around $20 million. By the late 1980s, the relational database management software market was becoming increasingly competitive, with Oracle leading the industry, followed by Sybase and Informix. Oracle, by 1986, had already established itself as a dominant force with revenue surpassing $100 million. Informix, while growing steadily, was still playing catch-up to the industry giant Oracle. By the mid-1980s, Informix had secured a solid customer base, but it struggled with profitability and scale. Seeking new leadership to drive Informix into the next phase of growth, challenging Oracle head-on, the board appointed Phil White as CEO in 1989. White, a dynamic and ambitious executive, was determined to take Informix to the top of the industry. Under his leadership, the company adopted an aggressive growth strategy that focused on rapid expansion, acquisitions, and market share gains. By 1995, Oracle's annual revenues had surpassed $2 billion, compared to Informix, which had revenues of $500 million. By the mid-90s, there was immense change in the technology industry. The database management industry was undergoing a significant transformation. The rise of object-oriented programming and the increasing demand for more versatile database systems created an opportunity for companies to innovate and redefine the market. It was in this context that Informix Software made a bold and strategic move. In December 1995, Informix announced its acquisition of Illustra Information Technologies for approximately $400 million. Illustra was a relatively young company, but it had developed a revolutionary database technology that combined traditional relational database management systems with object-oriented capabilities. This hybrid approach allowed developers to store and manage complex data types such as multimedia files, spatial data, and time series data within a single database system. The acquisition of Illustra was a strategic masterstroke for Informix. At the time, the database industry was dominated by relational databases, which were well suited for structured data but struggled to handle the growing demand for unstructured and semi-structured data. Illustra's technology addressed this gap, offering a solution that could seamlessly integrate relational and object-oriented paradigms. Informix integrated Illustra's technology into its flagship database product, resulting in the creation of the Informix-Universal Server. For the first time, businesses could use a single database system to manage all their data, regardless of its structure or complexity. Informix all of a sudden found itself at the forefront of the database industry. Phil White's aggressive pursuit of innovation at all costs had paid off. Informix's success with the Universal Server put pressure on its competitors, particularly Oracle, which was the dominant player in the database market. At the time, Oracle was focused on its relational database products and had been slow to embrace object-oriented technology. The launch of the Informix-Universal Server forced Oracle to rethink its strategy and accelerate its efforts to develop a similar product. By 1996, Informix reached new peaks, with annual revenues exceeding $800 million. White's aggressive sales tactics and marketing campaigns created the perception that Informix was poised to overtake Oracle. Phil White went as far as to put up a billboard near Oracle's Redwood Shores headquarters that read, "Caution, dinosaur crossing." Another Informix billboard read, "You've just passed Redwood Shores. So did we." Oracle shot back with a billboard that implied that Informix software was slower than snails. Then Informix CEO Phil White decided to make things personal. When White learned that Larry Ellison enjoyed Japanese samurai culture, he commissioned a new billboard depicting the Oracle logo along with a broken samurai sword. The ad wasn't even really aimed at Oracle as an entity, let alone the consuming public. It was a personal attack on the Oracle CEO. But if you know anything about Larry Ellison's competitive nature, you know that he was not going to take this lying down. Despite the innovative moves of Informix, cracks were starting to show as it became more evident that Informix bit off more than it could chew. By late 1996, product releases began to fall behind schedule. The company's disorganization frustrated some of its key engineers. This led to some of its lead engineers abruptly resigning and joining the arch rival, Oracle, bringing with them their entire engineering teams. Oracle was systematically targeting unhappy Informix employees and luring them to come work for them. Informix was furious, and in 1977, they filed a lawsuit against Oracle, alleging that Oracle had engaged in unfair business practices and corporate espionage. One of the key allegations in the lawsuit was that Oracle had hired a former Informix sales executive who had access to Informix's customer database. Informix claimed that this executive had provided Oracle with detailed information about its customers, enabling Oracle to launch targeted marketing campaigns and poaching Informix's clients. Oracle pointed out that employee movement between companies in the tech industry was common and there was no evidence of wrongdoing on its part. Oracle maintained that it had not engaged in any illegal or unethical practices and that it had always competed fairly in the market. Ultimately, the lawsuit between Informix and Oracle was settled out of court in 1998. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed to the public. However, it was widely reported that Oracle paid Informix a hefty amount as part of the settlement. Around the same period of the lawsuit, Informix was rocked by a huge scandal. In the mid-1990s, Informix was a relatively successful publicly traded company. Being involved in a fierce war with the ruthless Ellison was starting to take its toll on the company's finances. This put pressure on the CEO Phil White to address these financial issues. But rather than inform his shareholders that the company had run into some financial troubles, Phil White chose to fudge the numbers. Between 1995 and 1997, he overstated Informix revenue by $295 million. After company auditors and board members discovered the irregularities in 1997, White was forced to resign, and the company restated its 1996 earnings to show a loss of $73.6 million instead of $98 million in net income. Informix stock dropped by 50%, losing over $2.8 billion in market value. In 1999, Informix and its former auditors settled dozens of securities fraud lawsuits for $142 million, one of the largest settlements of its type in Silicon Valley history. In the end, Informix was broken apart and sold off, much of it going to IBM in a deal valued at $1 billion. As for Phil White, in May 2004, the Department of Justice announced that White was sentenced to 2 months in federal prison for securities fraud. The story of Phil White and Informix is a cautionary tale about the dangers of competing head-on with Larry Ellison. Phil White grew Informix too fast, promised too much, and crossed lines that should never have been crossed. And as it turned out, Larry Ellison didn't need to destroy Phil White or Informix. He simply waited for Phil White to destroy himself. Thanks for watching.